Yo yo yo, welcome back to the football den. It's banter time, and this is the mid season review. Today we're going to cover who we think are the potential upsetters, the potential toppers of the Premier League, the top four of the Premier League, the teams we think are going to get relegated, and the surprise elements for this season. So, Pathare, off to you. Uh, let's start with who we think is going to get relegated this season. Who do you think?
Okay, relegation for sure, I think, is going to be Sheffield and West Brom first.
Uh-huh.
And the third one is a bit dicey because I think Newcastle, Brighton, and maybe even Fulham could take that spot. Fulham, I would have said for sure, but right now they look like they've solidified their defense and have improved overall a bit at least. And if they continue this form, then maybe they won't get relegated.
Yeah, well, earlier on, Fulham only played attractive football, but they did concede a lot of goals. But now they have changed their playing style a little bit, and the manager's done a decent job. He could have come off with a result against the likes of United. He did come off with a result against Liverpool, but I'd say some people are not surprised anymore because that's what they expect now for people to go to Anfield and come off with a result. Uh, so
And
yeah,
yet United couldn't.
well, we did get a result. We didn't lose, so I don't know why I say we, but yeah. So for me, the teams that will potentially go down this season, like you said, who's that? Sheffield and West Brom for sure. But the third team, for me, it has to be Brighton. Uh, like they have been in decent form, I would say, but they play football that is too open and they leave their defense, you know, for the taking. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's a problem. Most of the time, it's a problem for them. So those are the three teams that I feel are going down. And moving on, let's talk about our potential top four. This is a tricky one.
So this is for me going to overlap with surprise elements because my top four, at least from this stage of the season, is going to be United, City, Spurs, and Leicester. I have not picked an order, but I would prefer United on top. And so it's coinciding on surprise elements because I have not named Liverpool in the top four given their form. And this form, so the problem is that this form has continued for the past 4 or 5 game weeks, where even the games that they won, they've just scraped by, and they seem to be missing. Like earlier when they had Jota, they had a second style of play, I would say, and then they had the injury issues, which they managed well, and now they just have they have to do what they did last season, but I think they were a one-hit wonder.
One hit wonder is what you're calling Liverpool now, are you? So the team that won the
I'm
Champions
enjoying
League,
this.
I can see that. So they came second 2 seasons back by a point. They won the Champions League that season. They won the
Yep.
Premier League the season after that. That's the previous season. And now, at the midway stage, you say that they are not going to end up in the top four.
Okay, so here's the thing. They they had this style of play where the fullbacks put in crosses and the attackers finished that. And now, I guess even throughout the injury time that they had those fullbacks, they had the same attackers, and yet they could not do what they did for the past 2 seasons. I don't think missing one defender should make that big of a difference. Okay, he's not like a legend or anything.
Well. That's true. Okay, to some extent, it's true. Let's just take yesterday's game into account. For example, according to the stats, Robertson and Arnold put in 40 crosses yesterday against Burnley. 40 crosses, out of which three were successful. The other 37 were not anywhere close to Liverpool players. So that says a lot. So do you think what do you think the problem here is? Is it lack of leadership? Is it that they're just having lackluster performances because they're off form, or is it that the manager's what do I say, behavior, or how else do I put it? Well, yeah, let's just go with behavior.
So
Is rubbing off on his players.
I think Klopp needs to spend a little less time googling excuses and finding new tactics, because I think currently the Premier League is all about adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that from teams. We saw Southampton get thrashed and then they came back, and now they changed their playing style. Now they're doing decent. We saw Fulham recently that they have begun to adapt. We saw Arsenal as well. So I think what Klopp did for the past 2 seasons, has been read very well by all the teams, and they know where exactly to stop the chances. And I think Klopp needs to stop being so, would I say, one trick pony.
Well, to be fair, it's not like they haven't had the chances to score the goals. They've had plenty chances. Origi, for example, yesterday had a one-on-one that he should have definitely scored, and that would have put them in the driving seat and probably gotten them 2-3 goals more. Like the floodgates would open. So it's not like they haven't had the chances. It's just that they're not able to convert them. So I wonder what the issue is with that. Clearly, tactically, okay, I get it that in some games they haven't been as good, but in most games they have had the chances and they haven't converted them. So would you blame the strikers for not finishing their chances, or would you blame the coach for not looking into the matters?
I don't know what's going on with the strikers, because Salah, a man who continues to like give you 20 goals a season for the past I guess 3 seasons, and now he just seems to blank for 5 game weeks, five matches in a row, and like that's surprising. So definitely something's going on there. Like maybe he's not in the right headspace, or maybe it's some changes which Klopp has instituted. No idea, but like I think that is the reason that there's definitely something going on with the attackers, right? Because Liverpool blanking, as much as I hate to say it, they don't blank like at least players like Salah don't blank 5 games in a row.
Yeah, well, this is also the first time that we're literally seeing Klopp getting frustrated and getting angry, not only at other teams or the referees, now at his own players as well. So it's fair to say that Klopp is at his best when he's praising the opponents, praising his own players, and praising the referees. When he's not doing that, well, you can see what happens. So let's just go over your top four once again, and then I'll give you mine.
Okay, so my top four is United, City, Leicester, and Spurs. Preferably in that order, I would say, for me.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about the potential winner of the Premier League soon, but let's get on to my top four prediction. I can't not include Liverpool. It's just not possible. So for me, it would be in no particular order: Liverpool, City, United, Spurs. Yeah. I'm gonna leave out Leicester City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Chelsea and Arsenal for obvious reasons. Leicester, well, they do end up bottling it towards the end of the season always, and I think that trend is gonna continue once again. And even if it doesn't, the top four that I just named, I think they'll just have a better season than Leicester will, so they'll outperform them in that way. And
Okay, so before we just move on from this topic, I would like to ask where does Liverpool go from here? What do you think? What changes are required for them, and how do you think they will fare in the future?
well, there is one thing that I understand better now, and that is why managers keep renewing the team, I would say, selling their star players, some of their star players, and getting in new players. It's because if you play the same style over and over again and again, like you said, you become predictable, and the other teams figure you out. And for me, what Liverpool needs now is a couple of fresh faces. Maybe see Jota, he did pretty well when he came on. They may need him back in the scene, doing what he does best, scoring goals. They do. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, and I know he's not a legend and all of that, not just yet, but they, even if they don't miss his defending, they do miss his leadership qualities. Because right now, okay, Henderson does a good job, but you need someone to lead from the back, and Van Dijk did that very well. So yeah, I think one more fresh face somewhere in the attack, and Jota being back. I think that's what they need. And where do I see them going from here? Well, it's hard to say right now because they haven't won any of the previous 5 games, and some of them have been against like the bottom 5 opponents,
Yeah.
which is not a good sign for them. And Klopp needs to get his shit together right now. Otherwise, I don't know where this ship is headed, man. Let's talk about Manchester City for a while here. City have caught up on form again. They are keeping clean sheets. They aren't scoring as many goals as we want them to, but they are grinding out the
Yeah.
results. And that's what you need, right? In difficult games, you just need the results to go your way. And they've been doing well.
But now KDB is going to be out for around 3 game weeks due to injury. So how do you think they want to keep their form going on? They are going to lack that creativity from for sure.
Yeah, well, so far this season, Foden and Bernardo Silva have done a decent job stepping up. Uh, like I said, they don't score close to as many goals as we're used to seeing from them, but just those one odd goals does help them get through the line, get over the line, and that's because defensively, Ruben Diaz and John Stones have been doing a phenomenal job. I don't remember, or I can't fathom saying that John Stones right now is one of the best English defenders to play in the Premier League. With the likes of fucking Harry Maguire, the 80 million centre back, John Stones has done a decent job. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. His partnership with Ruben Diaz has proved fruitful for City, and that is one of the major reasons why they've gone back to a winning form.
Yeah, definitely. And like you got to consider the fact that they still do not have an out and out striker playing for them. They don't have Jesus and Aguero, and
Yeah.
they still, like, even after all of that, they have a game in hand, and they're just 1 point off the top, if I'm not wrong.
Actually, they
2
would go
points off
on
the
top
top.
with 1 point in it.
Yeah, 2 points off the top. So that is a scary proposition to have. And for me, okay, we'll get to that later. But so that's our top 4 from both of us. Now, what I'd like to discuss is the potential upsetters and yeah, potential upsetters in both ways. Actually, like they can either be surprise elements that get into the top 4, or the surprise elements that just have a bad season.
So, who do you want to start with?
Well, I'd say surprise element number 1 for me would be Arsenal finishing above Chelsea this season. Well, I believe it. I can see it happening. If Lampard is in this Chelsea managerial job till the end of the season, I feel Arsenal are ending above Chelsea. And
So,
yeah, well,
Lampard seems to have dropped the soap and he can't pick it up.
well, more like Arteta standing right behind him and he doesn't want him to. So, ever since the Chelsea versus Arsenal game, Arsenal haven't lost a single game. And Chelsea have just, like swapped forms with Arsenal, looks like, because Mendy is doing what Kepa used to do. And Laka, I don't know from how, but Lacazette is scoring goals all of a sudden. Aubameyang got a brace last game. He should have had a hat
Oh,
trick.
yeah. That was surprising.
Yeah, Aubameyang got a fucking brace. So it's a topsy-turvy season so far, and I don't expect it to be any different for the latter half of it. So yeah, for me it would be Arsenal finishing above Chelsea. That's one of the surprises.
So, I'd like to discuss one thing that when you look at teams like Liverpool, City, or Chelsea at the moment, because they've had strong finishes for the past couple of seasons, they bring a threat. Like, just the name brings a threat to any pitch when they go there. And I think that to some extent has prevented them from improving to their real potential. Whereas I would give an example of United as a United fan, where at this point, when United go to any pitch, even the smallest team I would consider is like United, hey, we will get a result. Okay. And so United have had to build from scratch. It's like the United name at the moment does not bring fear into the opponents. And that is the reason why United's form right now is better than their other competitors.
So are you saying that the teams that have been better so far in the recent past are overconfident this season, and that's one of the reasons for them not performing up to the levels that we expect out of them?
Yeah,
Well,
definitely. Like, I think because the name brings along with it a swagger, but you have to back it up with your game. Like, game in, game out, you have to show who's the boss. And I guess just somewhere they have been like switching off, and which is the reason why right now they are like City is still having a decent form because they have a really good manager, and he's not going to let them switch off as often. But for at least Liverpool and Chelsea at the moment, I think that's the problem. They need to know what the badge means, and they need to like give it their all to get back.
well, since we're talking about Chelsea and Liverpool, I'd like to talk about one thing that I've noticed. Liverpool last season, they were used to playing the same 11 for almost all competitions with a couple of changes here and there through the season, right? In every game. But now, because the season is shortened and there are games coming at you faster than Hussein Bolt, you gotta keep switching your team, right? You gotta keep making 5 to 6 changes every game. And I just feel that this Liverpool side is not used to, or I would say that the cohesion amongst the playing 11 of the previous season is far better than the substitutes coming in and giving a performance. Whereas City, Pep is used to rotating his players, so everyone almost knows how everyone plays. And they did take a while. Like last season was pretty much them taking time to understand each other, seeing how they play, and all of that. Plus, so that had like a major impact. And this season, you can see that they know what runs to make when, what passes to play. So in a way, Pep's mind game,
Fraudulence.
yeah, fraudulence has paid off for them, and that is one of the reasons why City is doing comparatively better than Liverpool this season.
So Pep definitely has that vision, and I would like compliment him that almost every City player is compatible with the other, even the substitutes, like you said. But there is also another thing, like other side of Liverpool. The second point is that it is very short-sighted of Klopp. I feel that he didn't think his substitutes through. The transfer that he brought in, they are mostly oldies, and the young ones are not world-class players to live up to the Liverpool name. And I think it's the same problem that Everton faced this season, that they had a crazy playing 11, but they didn't have good enough substitutes.
Well, if you just we can't just compare Everton and Liverpool because they are at two different levels. But I get your point. Like Everton will need maybe a couple more seasons to build the squad, like the ideal squad that they want. But Liverpool, being Liverpool, should have already done that. Considering they won the PL last season and the Champions League before that, they had to keep improving on their squad, and not sit on their asses and think that okay, we have a good team and we're just gonna roll with it. So I get your point, and Yeah,
You have to get in those youngsters who are going to be like world class, so that they are the next generation. Like, you can't keep relying on your front three like for a decade and then be like, oh, I don't have any more players left.
yeah. Well,
And so this is actually like people criticize Ole for benching Van de Beek. I agree. Like, even I feel he should play. But the good thing I have seen about this is that we have world class. Like, I wouldn't call him world class. He's not proven yet. But we have quality players on our bench as well, and that is needed in a big team. Like, there have to be some quality players who are willing to be benched because there are those crucial moments, those win or lose moments where they come and perform.
and
We
being
need those
United
guys.
fans, we know it best, right? Like last season,
Yes.
we could see the drop off when our playing first 11 was either injured or just benched. We could
Yeah.
see when McTominay or Daniel James or Lingard was on the, or Mata for that matter, when all these,
Mata's still good, but
yeah, but
he
Mata
doesn't
with
have his
the
legs
others
anymore.
didn't really
Yeah.
work well, right? So basically, we could see that it doesn't work like that. You gotta have impact players off your bench as well. It's just
Yeah.
not about the playing 11. So we
Agree.
speak from experience, and maybe Liverpool are feeling it this season.
Yeah.
So that's that. Let's move on to who we think is gonna finish tabletop at the end of the season.
Well, you don't need to ask me. You know my answer.
Yeah, well,
I'm always going to say that.
yeah, well. As much as I want the red side of Manchester to lift the trophy, I do feel the trophy will stay in Manchester, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be tough between City and United, and we cannot deny that Liverpool is still in the mix. 6 points off the top is not a lot of points, and if Tottenham managed to beat Liverpool, then I would say that okay, it's the title race is not in their favor. I still wouldn't count them out because that's going too far, honestly, for me. And once Van Dijk is back, a lot can change. But
Yeah.
City
But
or United, and just because I have faith that Pep is a better manager than a PE teacher, I'm gonna roll with City winning this league.
okay, so the winner, I want it to be United, and at this moment, I can see a faint light that it could possibly happen. Okay, until the past season, I was just like a United supporter saying we're gonna win, knowing that we wouldn't. But right now, we might. We might. As far as Liverpool being in the title contention is concerned, the 6 points may not be a lot, but coming off like 5 bad performances, the kind of mentality it develops is could be detrimental for them in the future.
Well,
Especially,
they do call themselves mentality monsters. So we'll see what that's all about this season because this is the real test now.
yeah, how many excuses can you come up with before you know where you stand?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Tell me this: who do you think will get the sacking this season? Okay, is it gonna be?
Klopp or Lampard? Is that this thing?
Yeah,
Okay, so I think Klopp getting the sacking is a bit harsh, but then like I mean we've seen great managers get the boot, so it's not shocking if Liverpool's form continues, and Lampard for sure if he doesn't make some serious changes because Liverpool, to be honest, they didn't get great players. Lampard got great players and he made them into average players. Which
yeah,
is what
over,
United were doing for the past few seasons.
yeah, below average, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
despite our regular requests on this channel, he can't seem to play Bruno on strike.
I mean, these guys really gotta listen to us, man. Just stop listening to those fucking pundits. We said play Cavani, Martial, Pogba, and look how that turned out. Fucking great, right?
Definitely, bro.
So yeah, I think that's all from us for this one. So we've discussed the potential table toppers, the potential top four, the teams we think are going to get relegated, and the surprises for this Premier League season. And stay tuned for more content. And please like, share, and subscribe so that more people can view our content. And we'll see you on the next one.